Hello, and welcome to my tech journey on Quick Tech, where we discuss the inspiring stories of trailblazers in the tech industry. On this show, we discuss their journeys, the challenges they faced along the way, the milestones they've achieved, and even the wisdom that they've learned along the way, though. My name is Kasapa, and I am your host. Right. So today we have a truly special guest on the show today. I know you can't guess, so just wait for me to introduce him. With over 13 years worth of experience, he has worn so many hats in the cybersecurity industry, from being a pen tester to becoming a CEO, a co-founder, and a whole lot. Don't let me bore you with my parts. Allow him to introduce himself, but help me welcome Gervin Appiah.
All right, thank you very much. After that introduction, I don't even know what to say. Anyway,
You
thank
have a lot. You have a lot to say.
Yes.
Let me throw this one to you directly. What I gave was just something small. So please tell us who Gervin is.
Yeah. So I'm in the cybersecurity field. I'm a nice person. What I try to be, but my goal, since I was little, was always to make some form of impact. Right now, when I was little, I wanted to fly like every child. I wanted to be Superman, and so that influenced why I actually got the glasses. Right, but now I need it.
Oh.
So, yeah. But essentially, like you said, I have been in the cybersecurity field for a while. When I was young, my father got me a computer. I say me, I have sisters, but yeah, I took it personal. So I was the only one on it.
Yeah. I felt that before. The boys, they're
yes,
always taking
that's
over
right.
the computers.
Yes. Mostly to play games, right? Yeah, but for me, I quickly got bored of playing games. It was just the same thing over and over again, and I wanted to do something a bit more. I give a lot of credit to my father. My father was very helpful and very supportive. So, as an example, he used to get me a lot of books. I like to read. So, true story, I actually got the glasses because I would read even if there was no light. So I'll use moonlight, like those lights off back then. Also, it was normal.
The
So
serious
yeah,
ones.
you see me with moonlight in the corner reading. So eventually affected my eye, but I still read a lot. I mean, one of my readings, there was a little boy who coached a baseball team with a computer, and that got me hooked. So when I got the computer, I wanted to do something extraordinary, and over time that has turned into cybersecurity. But it's a very enjoyable field. So that's a bit about myself, how I got into the field, and it's a never-ending field. It's like reading, right? You always get new books. Cybersecurity is always like the field is always changing, and all it is just layering security on top of everyday things that we do. So
That's nice. Now, a little bird told me that your background is rather in electrical and electronic engineering.
yes, that's what I did in school.
Oh.
Yes. So I wanted to do computer science, but they felt that, well, everybody is doing computer science, and you have to do something unique, and your grades were good. So why don't you put it to good use, right? So yeah, I did electrical engineering, which was a wonderful course. Was just not for me. Yeah, so I would not hardly go for classes. I do not recommend this, right? I hardly go for classes. I was barely studying. I just had to pass, right?
Wow.
So that's my background. After school, I did my service in with the Ministry of Energy, also in the electrical engineering field, but I did not enjoy it. So when I got the opportunity, I just moved into tech.
Wow. Well, not all of us will have that opportunity to just switch after after all the fees your parents have paid, but Gervin had that opportunity to switch. But then you can convince your parents anyway.
Yeah. It was I think it was a natural thing. So for example, I was always behind the computer anyway.
Yeah.
I remember my mother used to complain. That's why, and there were times my parents would force me to leave the house. So you have kids whose parents want them to come back to the house. For me, I would not go anywhere anyway. I had friends who come and visit, and they'll say, you know what, you don't have to check if Gervin is at home. He's always at home. So yeah, they won't call me. By the time I realize they're just knocking at the door. There. So it was a natural progression. I was a computer guy in school, like in secondary school, in the GSS. even in the uni.
Wow.
When they want to play games, let's go and call Gervin. I'll come and do all the network and stuff. So it was just a natural progression. Even during my service, I was in the electrical engineering department, but I was doing computer stuff. So yeah, my parents were not upset. They're like, okay, just let him do what he wants.
Wow. So now let's come down deep into your journey. I know, as I mentioned in the introduction, you are a CEO, you're a co-founder, you are a lot of things. So break it down for us.
Okay, I'm not sure where to start from. Let's start with the CEO thing that you mentioned. So I do have like a small company that I ran called 00sec. And I wanted to be cool.
I was wondering how to pronounce that.
Yes. It's like right? And I wanted to do the James Bond, yeah. When I was little, I told you I had like dreams of being super cool. So unfortunately, the logo it's more confusing than it is. So it is 00sec.
00sec.
Yeah, so 00sec was a way for me to help out in the still growing industry. Right now, definitely there are cybersecurity companies in Ghana, quite a number of them coming up. But I wanted to provide security if you can pay, we'll do it for you. And if you can, wonderful. Then also we're going to empower the younger people to be able to participate. So you see a lot of things that I'm doing now has been born out of the desire to provide good security. Not because it's cool. It's just like you build a house, right? Everybody puts a padlock and a door. And their windows are not left bare. Why? They're not security experts. But it is because if they don't do that, they will get harmed. And so with industry. My mother, who is at the market, needs to make sure her phone is secure so people don't steal her money. So that is really driving the desire. That's where the 00sec comes in. Co-founder for Buy Time Sessions, BTS for
my
short.
favorite.
Yes. And then essentially that also was born out of BRCTF, which is an annual competition that you took part in recently. Congratulations.
Please don't tell that. I didn't win.
No, it's fine. It was your first time and you didn't sleep for 24 hours, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Plus, you did very well. I was very impressed. I think we have to give you like a special,
Go me.
Yeah. All those initiatives, the aim is just to help out, to grow the industry and to give people hope, really. Yeah.
Wow. So aside those two, which other initiatives should we look forward to?
So we have another program that we run called Nest. It's currently running, but we're going to vamp it up, right? We vamp it. So Nest is for tertiary institutions. So we're doing like a free cybersecurity program for them.
Wow. Yeah,
we started this year. And every Sunday we hold a 2-hour session. We have experts. One of the people doing the training is an expert. He's worked with a lot of large companies in the US and all over the world. And he's doing all of this for free for us, right? So we host them every Sunday at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now next year, we're going to expand this even bigger. We're going to make it, we're going to do competitions. We're going to have more interactive sessions. BTS is going to improve, but BRCTF is also going to improve. So we're going to do a lot of very fun stuff. And I've been a bit sort of not been too involved in some of the things, but next I'm going to be even more involved, so look out for that.
We look forward to that. Now, one of the favorite questions I like to ask all you big people in the tech industry, doing so many things at a time, how do you balance all of that?
It's because I have a big head. But on a more serious note, it's a lot of sacrifice. I think that's, I can't speak for anybody. I can speak for myself. This was normal to me when I was growing up. You can see the gray hair means I'm a little old, but
right.
After service, I'll get to work at 6 a.m. I'll leave at 9 a.m. or 8 every day.
Wow.
And I'll work on weekends. So it was a very normal part of how I got introduced into the working space. So I was doing it all the time. I also worked with my uncle when I was around maybe 15, 16 years. He had an internet cafe. So, and I'll get there very early. I'll turn on all the machines. I'll do scans, So it was just a normal part. And it's sort of become something I've grown up with. So doing multiple things is, although I get tired, obviously. I have people who say every time they message me, I'm awake. So, but I do sleep. But it became a very normal thing. It's not healthy to be honest with you, right? So
Yeah.
you need to find a good balance, and getting good people to work with you makes it a lot easier. Then you can do a lot more. You can do it better.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you mentioned being a young person, so let me bring it down to that level. At that stage, what you experienced, what advice will you give to a young professional who also, I mean, I wouldn't call that person a professional though, like a young
Somebody
person who
started.
wants to, enter
Getting
into the cybersecurity field? It can be a little scary,
it can be with the current developments. So let me do a sharp contrast. So when I started out, there wasn't a lot of resources. There were some resources, definitely, but it was not overwhelming. You go to one place for the resource, or go to a few places for the resources, right? So it was not overwhelming. You are not bombarded with several courses. Now everybody has something on YouTube or Instagram, etc. It is very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I do appreciate what people are struggling with now. I would say that there are two broad categories in cybersecurity. There's the offensive side and defensive side. Essentially, they all aim towards ensuring overall security. I'll say experiment. Just look at all of them. When I say all of them, not like the whole category, like of like subsets. Look at the two areas. Pick which area you think you're most interested in, and then just continue to learn, right? There'll be a natural direction. You realize you don't like certain things, you like some other things, right? Everybody wants to be a hacker, with a hoodie and like breaking into computers.
You mentioned cybersecurity and everybody thinks you're a hacker.
Yeah. I don't want to start with the stories, but
no, tell us. We want to know.
So, everybody thinks they assume you can do everything, right?
Yeah.
So early in my life, and this is being recorded, so maybe I should. Early in my life, I know somebody who was contracted to do some stuff. Like, oh, since you're a hacker, can you? There's somebody who's doing something to some girl, which was, can you do something about it? And that person did, right? It was scary, but yeah, I mean, you shouldn't do those things. It was not me. Just disclaimer. It was somebody else that I know. But back to your question, it's overwhelming these days because of the proliferation of resources. But just pick an area, just start learning, and naturally you find your progression. You find your niche, right? The area that you truly love to do. And I'll say that combine wisdom and your love for what you're doing, right? Pursuing what you love is great. And I think that's what you have to do eventually. But you should try and get something that will sustain you whilst you pursue those particular dreams. Otherwise, you can easily get frustrated. Yeah. And if you need help, just reach out to Patricia.
No, him. He will leave his socials for you, so you reach out to him, and he's always available to help. Anyway.
Always. Okay.
So
you're part of why I'm not sleeping.
Hey. So, what are some of the specific trends or technologies that you think we should take a look at in the field?
So, security operations, I would say broadly, and I'll break that down. The security operations would be, for example, large entities. Everybody's on attack these days. So, how do you monitor and detect these attacks? Under security operations, there are various elements, right? Like threat intelligence, threat hunting, incident response, all of those things, right? Those things are, I'll say, the blue team side of cybersecurity. There's never going to be a shortage of people or shortage of jobs that are.
Okay.
So it's not like we have 1 million jobs, so you don't have to worry about that. But you know that people would want to defend or protect the infrastructure, and so pursuing those areas would be really helpful. So those areas that I mentioned, like a SOC engineer, doing a bit of threat hunting, being able to do incident response, and I can explain those terms to your audience. So a SOC engineer at various levels, essentially you're working in what we call a security operations center. Think of it as you are monitoring, like maybe you have a camera, you have several eyes, and you're watching over a house, right? You're like a security man. If something happens, you say, hey, is somebody climbing that wall? Is he the painter, or he's somebody who's actually trying to break into that building, right?
Yeah.
And then you can help fix those issues. Things like threat intelligence is getting a lot of information about what type of bad things can happen to an organization, so that you can be proactive, right? You can stay ahead of the attackers before they come. Doing threat hunting is, okay, let's assume that the company has been broken into. Nothing has happened yet. You don't know, but you are making an assumption. So, for example, we are here in this room. Let's say somebody has planted a bomb. We don't know, right? Then we start checking, right? Just to make sure it's more
nobody
proactive.
has done
Exactly.
that.
And so those sort of things, they are going to grow. And as regulation becomes very important and compliance is being enforced here in Ghana, you find that a lot of companies will be required to have security.
Yeah.
So they'll either build an in-house security team or outsource. So the future is bright. And even importantly, you can get jobs outside, right? It's not always the easiest, but you can get jobs outside because, well, it's expanding the field and, well, not enough people. It's also very exhausting. So people leave the field or move to other places, right? So yeah, that's an opening for us. Yeah.
Interesting. Personally, what has been your greatest source of inspiration?
So I have to think about that a little bit. I think has been to help people. I have always been very empathic, right? I have a lot of empathy.
Empathetic. Okay.
Yeah. So I hate seeing people hurt or see people struggle. Yeah. So I never liked that. And then getting into tech, I realized there was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of people losing money. People being attacked in various shapes and forms. And also just helping people also get into an area where they can also put themselves in a position where they can prevent those things from happening has been a great motivation. I don't know if it has been my biggest source of motivation, and maybe money also. I'm just kidding about the money part. I'm kidding about the money part. But essentially that I don't see security as a job. I see it as an inevitable thing that we have to do. Right? I don't know whether at the first BTS session we did a small talk on security, but how even in the caveman days they picked caves that would prevent animals from entering the caves. So we're thinking about security. It's a natural part of life, right? Yeah. So as we get digitized, as we start putting a lot of things online, then it's just a sensible thing to do is to make sure those things are secure. People can die. It's not a joke. It's not a game anymore. It's not like you want to wear a hoodie and break into things. No, people can actually die. It can affect people's lives. And so I take it personal, right? I actually get very emotional sometimes. I even cry. I'm just kidding.
Hey! Just kidding. Now that we've gotten the inspiration out of the way, let's get more to the bad side. Is it bad? Your challenges. What has been your greatest challenges in building this career this far?
It was the opportunity. I think that was the opportunity and getting help. When I started, it was like I said, I'm sure there were people around, but there was disjointed. There wasn't any group like BTS. There wasn't anybody to talk to, and so I had to learn on my own. And then you make a lot of mistakes, but that's fine. It's part of the learning process. But there was nobody to talk to, so I did quite a number of things I shouldn't have done. If I'd known better, I would not have done those things. But it was a big challenge just getting help and learning. Now there are you can go on YouTube, you find several videos. I used to print. I had large printouts, right, of security documentation and RFCs and how to do X, Y, Z. And I'll take them even to secondary school, be in my bed. So I was always reading. Also, that was a big challenge. Now I think it's a lot easier. I don't know if it's challenging because it's overwhelming now. Back then it was the opposite. So that was my biggest challenge.
You know, one thing about me attending BTS, my friend sent it to me the day before, getting to evening time, and I already had things planned out for my Saturday. But when I saw it, I was like, God, I've been looking for something like this in Ghana. Let me just block my calendar. Wow. So I just dropped everything and I attended the event. Honestly, I've not regretted so far. I'm still making my connections. Now I know Honorable Gervin Appiah.
I'm going to try. I hope that I'll become honorable in character.
You're trying. So what legacy do you want to leave? What do you want us to know you for? I know you said a lot of things, but what exactly do you want us to know Gervin for?
Yeah, very good question. I've been told to say it's a very good question, but that's a very good question. I want to be known for having helped people who needed the help in the industry. I don't mean call me for money or anything, but I'm just saying that I want to be known for having helped people. I realized that That's the biggest thing you can leave behind. If I'm very awesome and I keep it to myself and I am like, I'm the superhero, right? To what end? And when I die and I go, that's it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're able to help other people climb, and Ghana grows, Africa grows, and people are more secure, I think that's wherever I am, I'll find joy in that.
Yeah, and your legacy will continue. They'll continue to mention your name. Yeah, if it weren't for Gervin, and you still be living, though you are dead.
I become immortal, right?
So the conversation is getting interesting, but we still have to wrap up somehow. So now please look straight to my audience and give them something. Any last words for them?
So I'll just say this: if this is the field you're interested in, don't give up. I know it's a little difficult, especially here from this part of the world. I did not give up, and I'm still growing. I found opportunities that I did not know I would find. So all I'll say to you, I know it's like a motivational speech, but don't give up. Just keep pursuing what you love. It will pay off one day.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation today. And to you, my audience, thank you for staying tuned throughout. We'll have Gervin sit in this seat again because, as you can see, we rushed through a lot of things because he has a lot to share. Please don't forget to subscribe to Kweku Tech, and we'll see you next time. Bye.